The music of Scotland has stood for centuries as an example of just how the storied culture and history of a region can shape its musical landscape. Gwilym the Bard is a fictitious but no less impressive example of historical Scottish music from the show Outlander. In this episode, Gwilym is invited to perform for the Clan Mackenzie, singing An Fiadhg Airgid, the Silver Whistle, a song that is, unsurprisingly, about the Scottish Jacobite Rebellion, given the context of the show. This and many other songs from this era showcase the rich musical history of the region. My name's Liam, and this is a brief overview of Scottish music.
Rose! Wait!
Singing pipes and thundering drums of the Isle of Cubray Pipe Band can be heard through the streets of Braemar, Scotland, playing Scotland the Brave, a de facto national anthem for the eponymous country. The tune's original composer is not known, but it was first published in 1878 in the Utah Musical Bouquet. The lyrics commonly used when the piece is sung were written by Scottish journalist Cliff Hanley for an arrangement of the piece. Apart from choral settings, it is often played by pipe bands as you're hearing now. It is also featured commonly in military bands like Canada's British Columbia Dragoons. Historically, it might even have been seen on the battlefield itself, being played by brave pipers like Bill Millen, who played on Sword Beach during the D-Day invasion during World War II.
Scottish music is commonly made of a variety of instruments, chief among them being the bagpipe. The bagpipe is a wind instrument unique to and synonymous with Ireland and Scotland. The Scottish variant, called the Great Highland Bagpipe, which is vastly the most popular and most played across the world, has a bag for air, a blowpipe to supply the air, a chanter pipe for playing the melody, 2 tenor drone pipes, and 1 bass drone. Bagpipes were commonly seen on the battlefields of the Scots all throughout history, leading soldiers into battle and inspiring them as they charged down their enemies. The tin whistle, or penny whistle, is a simple 6-holed woodwind instrument. It joins the recorder as part of the fipple flute family. Try saying that 5 times fast. It is most often used to play Irish or Scottish tunes. The penny whistle is small and high-pitched, mimicking a soprano voice, but there is also the low whistle, a much larger and thus lower version of the instrument. The fiddle is another quintessential part of Scottish music, often paired with cello in Scottish contexts. The term fiddle is a colloquialism for stringed instruments like the violin or viola. However, there are sometimes some small structural differences. For instance, on fiddles, the bridge is sometimes made by violin makers to be a little flatter to enable the easier playing of double stops and chords, which are very important in a lot of folk music, which is often played by those types of players. Fiddlers more often use steel strings rather than ones with synthetic cores, which allows for a brighter tone while playing. Fiddle techniques use often quicker rhythms and more note changes, whereas classical music employs a lot more sustained notes and vibrato. Celtic harp, or clarsach, is a slightly smaller variant of the traditional triangular European harp. It was historically an instrument for the aristocratic class of the region. It was redesigned in the early 19th century, made with a lighter soundbox and using gut strings. It was further improved in the 1890s during a Gaelic cultural revival. The bodhrán is a wide frame drum, originating from Irish music. Animal skin would cover one side while the other is open, allowing the player to place their hand on the inside of the skin to control the pitch and timbre the drum produces. It is played either with the back of the player's other hand or a cheepin, a small stick used to strike the hide. It is most commonly seen with Irish music, but can also be seen frequently in Scottish arrangements as well. Music in Scotland has always been used during wartime to inspire and command soldiers, as well as to bring people together to dance and celebrate with one another. After the final failed rebellion against the British throne, citizens of Scotland were forbidden from playing and singing most of the music they knew to be theirs. However, in the decades following, restrictions began to ease, and thus Scottish music rose from the ashes and became known once more as a symbol of a beautiful, wild country that shapes its music with its very landscape and people.